My name is Kyle. I'm originally from Olympia. Spent some time in the Army. Once I graduated from there, I finished my bachelor's degree. And towards the end of my time there, I noticed that I was just wanting to code more than actually work on finishing my bachelor's. So that kind of inspired me to come here. That's where I am now.
Or you could just hand me the short one so you don't mess up the smack.
Efficiency.
I have power. I'm Disa. Years ago, I was in business-to-business credit and collections. I say finance at parties because the word collections makes everybody recoil. I loved my spreadsheets while I was there, but that was about all I loved. About 3 years ago, I lost most of my vision. I get around pretty well, but I can't see you. And in the process of that, I went through a retraining program with the Department of Services for the Blind. It was a 10-month residential program, and I learned how to do everything again. And while I was there, I met a whole bunch of people who were in a lot worse shape than me. So I'm here learning how to make the world a little bit easier for them. I'm interested in accessible web design, and we'll see how that goes.
Hi everybody, I'm Robert Hatfield. Why am I a code fellow? Well, I am a fellow who likes to code. For the past 16 years, almost 17, I worked for a telecom provider, and most recently in the Network Operations Center, and was a change management analyst. I actually liked that job. Weird. It was interesting to solve problems and just make sure that you have all the details you need to ensure that a maintenance activity completes successfully. Unfortunately, I wasn't too happy with my commute from Tacoma to Everett. I was a fool, and so I was looking for something else, but I had heard about hotels. Couldn't do it though. How am I going to go to school full time without an income? Then my department was restructured, and I could either find another job in the company, relocate to Denver, or take severance and go to school and do what I wanted to do. So that's the opportunity I took, and I'm very happy I did.
Hi guys, I'm David Cole. I have been working. I've been working in the music industry for 15 years in almost every facet of it, and the one thing I learned from that was that you can lose your job at any moment. No matter what facet you're in, your job could be gone tomorrow. It has nothing to do with your skill, it has nothing to do with your ability. It could be just gone because art is subjective. And so I needed a day job that I could consistently live well off and maybe in the future have a family, while still being able to pursue my passions on the weekend. And Code Fellows has really good marketing. And I saw the 95% placement rate, and then the median salary, which I think the modal salary might have been a better representation, but it got me. It got me, and that's why I'm here, is to get security. So yeah, I think we can kick it off now. So, the beginning of this, our instructor had told us, do not pick your baby. Do not pick the site you love because it has caused problems in the past. and you have a certain vision, and if your team members don't have that vision, it's just not worth it. And I did not listen. And I have to give a huge thanks to my team members because we all pitched our ideas, and they actually thought it was a good idea and allowed me to do something that was self-serving. And I really, really appreciate that. Real quick, another thing I appreciate is that doing that, we never fought one time about anything ever, not ever. And I thought that was really cool. And if there was frustrations between each other in the group, we didn't tell each other. We just walked away. We just walked away. Long lunches. But this is the website for the nightclub that I run called The Underground. I did this page. So what it is basically you got the underground, you got your nav bars, which Kyle will talk about more. But this was my main thing, was having a slideshow that right when you come to our website, you can see, easily read, and well, mostly easily read and see posters of upcoming events. I thought that was a super important function. And then just describing a quick thing of who we are and hours of operation, and then if you actually highlight Mark Pospisil, as in contact Mark Pospisil, my business partner, generates an email with an actual subject line that says contact from user of the Underground. And I thought that was really great. And so basically, this is what I did. This is what I wanted. I had a dream, and if there's one thing I can say, it's that problem domain is so crucial. Like problem domain assessment, I did not take that to heart when we talked about it, but I almost had a breakdown being like, how am I gonna make this happen? And then I was like, all right, get photos on the page, change the photos, do an animation. And that process really allowed me to do this page. So I'm gonna shut up and hand it to you. I think Kyle is, or yeah.
Okay, so I was in charge of the events page and the about page. The events page was originally an artist page, and it was going to highlight the different DJs and performers that would be at the club. Through some information mishaps, we decided to change that to the events page and highlight the different types of music that are played throughout the month at the club.
That reoccur every month.
Reoccurring, yes. So this was a really straightforward page, as it turned out. Just a little bit of picture, a little bit of text. There are all of the artists go to their Facebook page where you can find out more about them, hear some of their music. So that was pretty straightforward. And my original idea was to then just copy that, copy paste into the about page. And I didn't really like that feeling. It kind of felt like I was cheating. So I started playing around, and I discovered this thing called modals, which was really, really fun. So when you click on Robert's beautiful face, this little text box comes up describing, or just talking about his bio. I don't know if that's high level enough or not, but yeah, that's basically what it was. So I had a lot of fun kind of implementing that into the website. And then I was also in charge of putting together the header and the footer to make sure that that was uniform. It's kind of hard to see because the resolution is so, yeah. So the nav bar, when you scroll up, will stick to the top of the screen. It's really nice. So you always have your navigation. So I had a lot of fun implementing that as well. Yeah, so that was my piece of the pie.
Slash so much CSS. Like,
Yes.
I can't even not contribute.
I did a little CSS.
Tribute CSS.
I did a little bit.
CSS guru.
And then, Yeah, most of the heavy lifting was in the calendar and the contact section, so let's go to Disa.
Just brag, man, brag.
Right.
So, the history of this calendar is the history of no. At first I just embedded a calendar, and I was going to do other stuff with the page. Google Calendar embed. It's a very simple, ugly pastel blue box in the middle of all of this black and royal blue. And I hated it. So I set about trying to find a way to make it more attractive. Well, first I wanted to do the API. Okay, great, I learned how to do the API, and then I asked if I was allowed to use jQuery, and they said no. No, you cannot use jQuery. Can you operate an API with vanilla JavaScript? Yes. Do you want to do that? No. No. So my next step was to modify the calendar with PHP, which is great. So I went home and I learned how to use PHP. And I came back all excited about this PHP, and Robert said, you know, I was reading something about that. I don't think that, yeah, here it is. GitHub doesn't support PHP. Me too. And so I constructed a JavaScript calendar from scratch. It builds the table dynamically using a date object to generate all of this data. The drop down here limits the dates that you can get, but that was just because I did that. If you wanted to, you could withdraw data for years and months, all the way back to the beginning of the world in 1970. And out to the end of time. The data that is in here right now, the events that are in here right now are drawn from an object. My eventual goal would be to scrape his Facebook calendar.
I feel like we all.
Yeah, so scrape his Facebook calendar and import the data that way. Again, dynamically, so that it changes day to day. The column widths, we could fix those. We decided against it because that little CSS change would change everything else. Is there anything else? Oh, the upcoming events. Again, that will be generated based on the data object with the data object string, pulled apart into an array and populated dynamically.
Yeah.
More events, yeah, see it changes, everything changes, rearranges, counts the days. Yeah, there are events, real events in there. Real events. Anyway, that's what I did.
Okay, my primary contributions to this project were the contact page, where a visitor to the site can reach out and communicate to the business owners without solely relying upon Facebook. That was a key concern of the client. And he wanted to have a presence on the internet that was a bit more professional and their own identity, just a social network. I also did help with our Git flow, which we had some catastrophes, as Disa so aptly termed. But thank you for your feedback. Yeah, and just kind of documenting our project and where we were with our goals and what we were working on each day. Here we have a new sign up for a newsletter. You can indicate what genres of music you're interested in, as well as if there are any that are not on this list, you can provide that. That's one form. We also have a form over here to the right to maybe suggest another artist come perform at the club. We'll see if Iggy Pop shows up. And if you just want to offer general feedback to the club, you can do so. Lots of optional fields. We did have some data validation. You've got to give us a name if you and an email address if you want a newsletter. And there was making sure that your email address is properly formatted. If you have the link to the artist page, you don't have to type in the http:// that I found a function that was able to prevent that if it wasn't already there, which was pretty cool. And then this is in a scenario being placed into local storage, and down here in the lower left, we have a little tiny link to an admin page. Oh, actually, Ellie, come back. Oh, we're still here. Another thing that we did was I popped up just a brief acknowledgement when the form is submitted. Learned about the time delay, and that's rendered as soon as the form is submitted, and then it goes back to your functionality, and 1.5 seconds later, it's removed from the DOM. So now we can demonstrate or go to the admin page, please. And this is all pulled again from local storage. We're not using any external storage, and so that's not within our scope. It's within my personal scope, but it's not necessarily the project. And so, yeah, here are all the responses, and this gives the business the feedback they need to increase their customer satisfaction and keep people coming into the club.
Can we embiggen or explain kind of what's going on right there?
I'm sorry?
Oh, no. Just to embiggen. That's perfect.
Okay, yeah, don't be careful about changing sizes because my CSS is a house of cards. My biggest challenge with this whole thing was the interests. I was storing these as what you get from a check mark on an HTML form is Boolean value. I was initially just returning that, but the real hard thing was figuring out where that was stored on the object that was in the objects within objects within objects, finding where the key value pairs were. And got some help with that, and once I was getting my data back, then I could manipulate it and give us something a little better than just a bunch of true-false values. That's all I had.
Just to close it up, there's a couple things that you may be wondering, like, why does our background photo not look crazy good? But if you open it up on your laptop, it does look super quality. It's just the limits of the projector and whatnot. But if you feel like checking it out on your own website or on your own computer at any time, it does look good. And I, again, have to thank Robert. This, to me, is the most important. This in the calendar are the most important parts because this allows me to make my business better. This allows me to make better informed decisions about my business, which is what a website should do. And just again, none of us had ever talked to each other in the class at all until 201, until this project, and we all get along great. And one last thing is that I don't know if Brandy is here, but this was my third attempt at 201, and she was generous enough to let me try one more time with a very, very small fee. And she also told me, you can't come back if you don't do it again. And it really, truly was so generous of her, and Code Fellows is so generous with working with students, and I also want to thank Sam, who I'll see a week from Monday, who was my old 201 instructor. Nothing to do with you, Sam. And it was just, this place will really help you if you ask. And that's all I want to say about that.
Questions?
Any questions?
Did you accomplish your goal or integrate any of the accessibility you were looking to put into this? Will a screen reader tell me what's going on this page?
A screen reader will completely freak out at my JavaScript calendar. It will not like that at all. Tables, no fun.
But you built it yourself.
But I built it myself, and the next one I build will be screen reader compatible.
Yeah. It's because David is in the audience. What did you learn about learning?
It's a never-ending process.
The
It
Family
doesn't
Feud.
stop.
Google it, but don't trust to everything you find on Google.
You started over from scratch.
If you're gonna use W3 schools, like for I didn't know how to do fade animations. Be sure that you can explain why it works. Like you can copy paste and have it work, but like to explain why it works is crucial. So there's nothing wrong with referencing to other things and then giving them in our README we get them attribution. And again, problem domain. I just freaking out like I can't do this, and then being like, yes you can. It's gonna be okay. Just do it step by step. That's what I learned about learning.
Yeah, Kyle was trying to take my answer in our mock presentation, but yeah, absolutely. It doesn't stop, and that's a great thing about this. Is you can keep improving as long as you're looking for those answers and look for those answers. Ask for help. Here on the internet, I haven't started asking questions on Stack Overflow because all the questions I have at this point have probably already been asked. But I'm looking forward to using that as a resource. And yeah, just knowing when you're up against an obstacle, a challenge, let's say, that you need help with. And again, as previous group mentioned, having that humility and saying, okay, I don't have this. Morgan.
Oh, I just had a compliment. I think this was really beautiful. The design is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Kyle.
It was all Disa.
We pair programs quite a bit.
We did work collaboratively on wireframing all of this our first day. And again, client starts with something. We asked, okay, well, is that what do you want this to do? That kind of thing. And we'd all offer suggestions, and there was no ego about which was the best answer, or my answer is the best answer. And all like, oh, yeah, that's good. And again, yeah, Kyle with his implementation of the layout and helping each of us out with our individual CSS was tremendous.
Real quick.
I draw at the level of like a 5-year-old, so my visual, like I knew audio, my visual stuff, I did not approach this as, this is my baby, this is how it's gonna be. I was like, what do you guys think? Like, help me make this better, because all I care about is a good product, not what I want. And I think that was so crucial. And again, Kyle's help, though there was a point when Kyle, we had been pair programming for a while, and then there was some formatting that needed to be done of the events page, and he was like, dude, I do CSS, like, I helped you, you need to figure it out now. And that was really good for me to be like, okay, crap, all right, I gotta do this too. So,
Yeah. Any other questions?
If you start from scratch, what would you do differently?
I would, oh man. Okay, so the way I did the slideshow was I made a bunch of HTML items, and then I learned how to make them disappear and fade in and out, and I would refactor that from the very beginning because I had like 50 slides. So, what minimum viable product? So,
Yeah, same thing for me was trying to eliminate scope creep. Know what your goal is when you are actually coding and stick to that. Don't go down the rabbit holes that we went down. Oh man, okay, I got this work, but wouldn't it be cool if it did this as well? And then that sidetracks you. It could break the thing you've already got working, but also it'll prevent you from getting to the other core features that you've got to have.
I'm going to second that thing about scope creep. That dude's a real jerk. He'll send you down rabbit holes all night long, and you may not get to the things you need to do, but you'll be exhausted when you get there.
Ditto.
Cool. Thanks, y'all.